Hey everyone, I'm Max Clark. This is 20 Minutes Max. I've got a little bit of a head cold here, so hopefully I don't sound too crazy. Actually, maybe I'll sound crazy and it'll be better. I want to riff a little bit on hiring and hiring for traits. A conversation I've been having and asking about is what to look for and how to find it when you're talking with a candidate and you're out looking for somebody to bring into your business. And the first part is we can talk about, experience, expertise, past history. These are all things that you would look for in a resume, and something that you can talk about and you can ask, have you done this thing I need to hire you for? Second to that, you get into character traits that are really important to you in your business and really important to you, anyone that you're going to hire that's going to have any sort of interaction inside your company and outside of your company. Now, top of those lists we talk about is, integrity, people skills, communication. Can they, very common for a while was this idea of, interviewing by written. Are they a good writer? Can they communicate? Can they express a thought? Can they, consume information? In today's world of async and more work from home, being able to write well and communicate is a massive, huge thing that you should be looking at and thinking about before you hire, whether it's email or Slack or Teams or project management, Asana, Monday, ClickUp, Google Docs, Word, I don't care what it is, right? People have to be able to write, express ideas, and communicate with each other. Now, something that I've been thinking about really, that's been a friend of mine for a while, and I've been trying to understand a little better, is this idea between attention to detail and sense of urgency. Can you hire, if one is lacking, can you coach it or train it or teach it? And which would you actually prefer? And my thought on this has actually changed recently. I used to kind of think that the idea was you wanted to try to find and hire more for a sense of urgency. Somebody who's, a killer and persistent and is going to take a task and attack it right then and there and really understand, just how important it is for, time to market with certain things. And the reason why I've changed recently to actually believing that attention to detail is more important and something that you should index toward in hiring and in trying to understand, personality and character trait of the person that you're talking to and the person that you're considering to hire is it will make you absolutely crazy if you've got somebody on your team that is really fast to turn around, a task, turn around work, but it's never correct. With a defined input and a relative, and if you're doing it right, you should have a process that has a defined input and a defined output, and maybe the in between is spongy or not defined, or maybe you're hiring somebody for expertise to help you develop. I need to create a process or I need to create something, and I kind of understand what my input is, but I don't understand what the output is, or I know what my output should be, but I don't know what the input is. And any sort of situation, right? You either have a process that you want somebody to repeat and follow with and produce a predictable output for you, or you want somebody to create an input and process to achieve an output for you, right? This is the goal. And if that teammate has a really high sense of urgency with really low attention to detail, you fall into a situation where, you're repeating work too much. You can't hand off and delegate and let go of tasks because everything keeps coming back to you. You're in a pattern where if things are going out to another department or if things are going out to a customer, you have to check that really closely before it goes out. And there is a line where this becomes detrimental and like I said earlier, will absolutely just make you crazy. The holy grail would be, finding a high attention to detail with a high sense of urgency and ownership. But I've actually, changed my thought process a little bit around this to indexing toward more attention to detail than sense of urgency. I would much rather have something take longer, but only be done once. Now this isn't expecting perfection every single time. I mean, that doesn't, we tell our kids all the time, perfect doesn't exist. Carly Fiorina has a quote in her book from when she was with HP of perfect enough. The idea is not perfection. The idea is you want mistakes or errors to be the exception, not the norm, and you still want it fast. But within within that sense of urgency, for most processes within a business, client communication and response to clients should be very, very high. If a client reaches out to you, the response should be as quickly as possible, but not necessarily with a completed, we're done. It could just be an acknowledgement. We've got it. We're going to start working on this right away, or we're going to work on this tomorrow, or this will get back to you on Wednesday. It's Monday. It's going to be back to you on Wednesday. What communication with clients is absolutely paramount, and that should have a really high sense of urgency. Something comes in, fast response time out, clear, understanding of what actually needs to be there. But the actual delivery at that point to the client, it should be good. If you deliver something back to a client and it's not good, the client then is going to kick it back to you, and you get into, and that's actually even worse for you. It's probably better to say, it's Monday afternoon. When do you need this? Do you need this tonight? Do you need this on Tuesday? Can I get this to you on Wednesday? And actually involve your customer a little bit, your client a little bit in what sort of delivery and what sort of urgency the client actually has. So that way you can figure out what sort of urgency you should have and not make assumptions along the way. Something that like I said, I'm now understanding that attention to detail for me is more important than the sense of urgency, and trying to index towards attention to detail is going to be the preferred and the more important thing over over a sense of urgency. So, I'm curious what you think about this and what you've experienced. I'd really love any tips or tricks that you've found to, help instill one or the other, right? Have you been successful at teaching attention to detail or coaching attention to detail with somebody with a high sense of urgency? Please tell me your secret, or vice versa. Do you have somebody with phenomenal attention to detail that you've been able to coach up on sense of urgency? That's amazing as well. The idea and the goal now going forward, of course, is a mix of both. High attention to detail with a strong sense of urgency versus the other way around. I'm Max Clark. This was a short 20 minutes, Max. Hope this helps you in some way. And talk to you soon.